Hello, second grade families. This is Sarah Jackson. I just wanted to create a quick video for you to cover some of the stuff we didn't get to talk about at training. So today I wanted to talk with you about our Essentials Reader. We'll be using this with our second grade Logic of English curriculum. This will start in Unit 2, so not until week 3, and we'll always be one unit behind. So we'll be reading stories that utilize the information and skills that we had covered in the previous unit. So I wanted to show you what that's going to look like in the plans and then just kind of go over some of those things. For Logic of English, this is a phonics controlled reader, which means that each of the stories is going to only use words that should be decodable to your child because it's material that should have been covered. I love at the beginning of each story, they will have the words set out for you. So this is Unit 2, and they'll have the word, and then if your child is struggling to read that word, they can go across and look at the word with the Logic of English markings on there. So they'll see the phonograms underlined. It will tell which sound it's making, and they should be able to interpret that, and that should give them a clue how to read this. So if they're struggling with the word strength, I can say, oh, look, I see and I see and that will help them to decode that word. Or I can say, ooh, on this word, I see that we have making its second sound, is. And they should be able to then read that word. So the way this will look in the plans is that you will see essentials, you'll see the unit and the part, and then starting on day 2 at home, you're going to have Unit 2 pre-reading. Anytime you see ER, that stands for Essentials Reader. So you're going to go to the teacher's guide on page 7, and you're going to do that pre-reading. So a lot of the skills are going to be done at home. So if you look on page 7 then, of your book, got Unit 2, Buck Got Stuck, and you're going to do at the bottom of the page where you'll read through the notes. Those are notes to you, the teacher. And then you'll go over this pre-reading. So we're giving the kids practice looking at the words before they actually read the story. When they come back to school on day 3, that is going to be their first read of the story. On day 3 is we are going to have reading groups at school. So what that will look like is that your kids will be split into groups and they'll kind of rotate through stations. So when they meet with the teacher, they'll be reading, getting coaching on decoding and fluency and all the things having to do with reading a story. And then in their small groups, they'll be doing different activities. They might be working on cursive. They might be working with their spelling list, writing the words with wiki sticks, or doing some type of sensory activity like that. They might be playing a phonogram game. So the teacher will have set up some fun different activities for them to do that are working on skills that we're covering in Logic of English. But it will also give us the opportunity as teachers to work in a small group setting, listening to each child read. After that, when they come home, on day 4, they are going to reread that story at home with you. And then it says here that you're going to do the post-reading in the Essentials Reader's Teacher's Guide on page 8. And that post-reading is basically going to be those comprehension questions. So you're going to be asking your child questions about what they read. You're finding out if they understand what they're reading. And you might talk through some vocabulary things. Then the following week, remember each unit that we do in Logic of English is spread out over 2 weeks. So the following week, on day 2, you will again be going back to that story. You're going to reread the story, and then going back to the teacher's guide, you're going to do the handwriting and composition. So you'll have a different activity each time at home to work on. So you'll see handwriting and composition. The student should also have a workbook that goes along with this. So you'll see it says practice handwriting with cursive 2 on page 9 or manuscript 2 on page 10. So you're going to go to your workbook, hopefully have them do the cursive one. But if they're not quite writing cursive yet, have them try the manuscript. And then you can kind of look at the different activities that they have. We definitely want you to do some of those. If it's not achievable to do all of them, pick the ones that fit best for you. But it's really a great skill to have them working on their handwriting and working on composition and processing the story. Toward the end of the week, you will see in your plans to do that extension and cross-curricular activity. Those are optional. If you feel like you have margin to do those, they can really enhance your instruction. If you feel like that's too much, don't put that on your plate. Just do it if you think it's something that would be fun for your family and would enhance your child's learning. So they should essentially be reading the story, each story 4 times, twice at school when we do our reading groups, and then they will read it twice at home with you. Now, what should you be listening for as you're doing this? You're kind of listening to see if your child, when they come to a word they don't know, how are they figuring that out? We call that decoding. So are they able to see the phonograms? Are they able to use their knowledge of spelling rules to figure out what a word says? So you're listening for those skills, and then if you're noticing your child struggling, you're helping to correct that specific skill. Maybe you need extra work on a certain phonogram or reviewing a spelling rule and how to apply it. You can also be listening for fluency, like smoothly reading the sentence. It's okay to ask your child once they've read through it, and if it was kind of choppy, like, let's read that again and make it really smooth. And you can listen for expression. So we want it to be like they're telling an exciting story, not reading like a robot. So those are like some different areas that you can kind of work towards improvement in as your child is reading for you. I hope that that was helpful for you. I'm so excited for your journey with Logic of English. And please feel free to reach out to myself or to your classroom teacher if you have any other questions. Thanks.